With government implementing further lockdown measures to curb the spread of COVID-19, the construction sector has taken a tremendous hit. This according to the president of the Joint Consultative Council for the construction industry. Fazir Khan says while many companies had engaged in salary cuts and other measures to preserve jobs, it may not be that easy this time around. Sunil Lalla tells us that the JCC President is urging government to allow construction workers to apply for any relief possible.
When a construction site is shut down, you are essentially out of employment, making this second blow in this third wave particularly devastating for us.
COVID-19 has taken many lives, devastated economies, and has hundreds of thousands of companies hanging on by a thread. The local billion-dollar construction industry is no different. It has been made to shut down essentially 100% of its operations in the latest lockdown to help ease rising COVID-19 infections. And while President of the Joint Consultative Council for the Construction Industry, Fazir Khan, says they are in support of government's measures, the industry is doing as much as it can for affected employees, especially daily and weekly paid. He is hoping government can render some assistance for them, like what was done during the first wave of COVID-19.
The Ministry of Finance released yesterday, 18th of May, inviting the affected public to apply for salary relief grants. It did not include the construction sector.
Mr. Khan says there is hardly a company that is not owed significant sums of money for services rendered and accepted by government contracting agencies. He believes that has eroded business cash flows and may be a factor in many construction companies not being able to survive the shock of this third wave. He notes, though, that some local companies have been able to continue operations in other countries, which he believes could be viewed as both fortunate and unfortunate.
I know of a company that is doing construction in Guyana. About 2 months ago, they lost one of their employees to COVID. There are companies that are operating in the Eastern Caribbean, and essentially employees were left stranded.
The JCC President, who has been lobbying for procurement legislation, says although it was proclaimed in December, the regulations are yet to be brought to the Parliament. He wants government to act with some urgency, since he believes oversight for very limited public money during this pandemic is required.
We have a procurement regulator, we have an OPR, but without the regulations, they can't do anything.
Mr. Khan says the local construction industry employs over 100,000 persons both directly and indirectly, and believes close to 50% of the construction labour force has been negatively affected by the latest lockdown. Sunil Lalla, TTT News.
Finance Minister COLM IMBERT says no decision has been made yet on whether construction workers would be included to obtain a relief via the salary relief grant. He pointed out an issue which can arise if relief is being considered for that sector.
Center, what is called itinerant or transient. They're not permanent employees of anybody. They move from project to project. They're temporary in nature, so it makes it all very complicated. So the construction sector was not included in the initial list of sectors that had been affected by the public health regulations for that particular reason.
However, the minister says the finance ministry will not close the door on the construction industry.
It's very difficult to determine if somebody has been permanently employed as a construction worker on a construction project and because of COVID have lost their job. But it is not something we're closing our eyes to. It's also a very large number of people. So we have to think about that very carefully.
The construction industry, according to the Joint Consultative Council for the Construction Industry, employs close to 100,000 persons, both directly and indirectly.